It's year number 7 for Reivers football, and the excitement level for the 2015 season is at a fever pitch. A solid returning class, a ton of experienced incoming transfers, and a promising freshman class. We'll know how this year's squad will be remembered in about 3 months. A look at the first step in a season-long journey comes next. It's the Iowa Western Football Coaches Show. The Stroh Show is only on CBTV 17. Week 1 of the 2015 football season. Hard to believe it's already here, but it's back. I'm Jake Ryan with the head football coach of the Iowa Western Reivers, Mr. Scott Strohmeier. Coach, 8th year now at Iowa Western, 7th season of football. You don't look a day older than when you got here. Obviously, it's been quite a ride. A national championship. You've played for a national championship the last 2 seasons, 22-2. I mean, it's been a heck of a run. What is it that you were looking most forward to in year number 7 of Reivers football?
Well, I think every year there's an excitement just because your roster changes over so frequently. And, we had some guys who put in a lot of time in the offseason. You're excited to see them now get their chance. They sat behind people last year, and now it's their turn. So just kind of to see some of those guys develop, and now it's their turn to be able to play.
A lot of very talented incoming guys as well, not only the freshmen, but you get your fair share of transfers that come in from the Division I level. Talk to me a little bit about some of those guys quickly on both sides of the ball. Who are we going to be looking for as far as the big name transfers?
Well, one, Alton Meeks is a defensive end. He was a linebacker at Iowa State, played 11 games there in the Big 12 and started 2 of them, and we moved him to defensive end, so he played as a transfer. Zach Whitley, linebacker from UCLA, who wears number 4 for us, and we're expecting good things from him as well. Diedrich Bing-Dukes is another linebacker from the University of Georgia who transferred in. So we got a fair share. Natai was here in the spring as an offensive lineman. Natai Rogers came from South Carolina, and but you mix some of those with some of our our returning guys and some incoming freshmen, and we got a chance. We got a chance to be pretty good.
Tell the folks about some of the guys that obviously the team is built upon the state of Iowa and guys from it. Tell the people about some of the people that we'll be seeing from the state of Iowa this season, incoming freshmen.
Well, I think, up front on the offensive line this year, we have 3 starters from Iowa. Jake Porter is back. He played some for us last year. Max Stewart started the entire year at left guard from Sioux City, and Jake's from Fort Dodge. And then Kane Barker, who he came in as a defensive end, and we moved him to offensive tackle in the spring, he's really developed into doing some nice things there. John Swisher and Ben Spaeth are playing on the defensive line. They both played last year. Ben was kind of hampered with some injuries, and John played defensive end. Ben Garlock started at our strong safety, or our nickel back. Rico Gafford started at safety for us. So we got a good group of returning Iowa kids that we're really pleased about.
All right, and a lot of those guys played pretty well on Saturday night against Coffeyville. Let's take a look at the highlights as the Reivers took on the 10th-ranked Coffeyville Red Ravens from Veterans Memorial Stadium, one of the finer stadiums you will see at the JUCO ranks. And you start off the Reivers in their brand new white Nike unis. Pretty sweet-looking jerseys, Coach. How long did it take you guys to pick those out?
Didn't take us too long. Nowadays, they have programs that can create those.
Riley Ferguson starts for Coffeyville. You see him. He was 7 for his first 7 on the game. Again, Wesley Bullock's first, and then to Trevor Nellums, the tight end.
Yeah, he's a good player. There's a reason why he's one of the top players in the country coming out of high school.
And then you get a little bit extra pizzazz on this touchdown run. Wesley Bullock, of course, was here at Iowa Western. He puts Coffeyville on top 6-0.
I'm sure he's a little bit excited about playing in this game, but he had to catch a touchdown there.
One of the offensive returners, an out-of-stater from just across the bridge in Omaha. That's Zach Martin to a new guy. That's Ray Gray out of the backfield.
I'll tell you what, it was good to answer coming back, getting Zach and Ray Gray in it, and then you hit your All-American, returning All-American for a big touchdown to tie it up.
Absolutely, 49 yards to Taj Williams there, and the game is all knotted up at 7. So you guys will give it back to him, and it will be returned by Alfonso Anunwar, a name that we heard a lot about during the game, and Anunwar really picking his spots. You guys get him just before the 40. Not a bad return, but that sets him up again with the short field.
Yeah, and we didn't get the kick where we wanted it, and this one here is just a kind of a breakdown, and they give a big one. I'm telling you, they have some talented wideouts, and we knew that coming in.
So that touchdown makes it 14-7 as Juwan Winfrey goes all the way, hits the pylon on his way out of bounds, and well, now it's time to answer again on the road. Pretty good crowd as well for the Red Ravens.
Yeah,
Anthony Johnson, another newcomer. What's Anthony's story?
Anthony, he played at Butler last year and transferred in this summer, just with the coaching change, so got a kind of fresh start here.
And here is Zach again, trying to get out of the pocket, and a fumble on the ground. Nice job there as the Red Ravens were standing on top of it and couldn't see it right below them. But you guys get it back, get a chance to punt it away. And it will be Bobby Patterson, the freshman kicker this year. And then it's, again, Riley Ferguson going to work again for the Red Ravens.
I'll tell you what, he gets it out quick, and they hit that one a few times. I'm guessing we'll see that combination here coming up in a few weeks to come. But I tell you what, he is accurate. He's way more accurate than I maybe envisioned him being.
The dark side shows up here, and on the third drive, they force a punt finally from the Red Ravens, and you'll take over inside the 20.
It was good. I didn't know the way their first two drives went, it might be a long day, but we get a chance to come back. He hits Turner Gaines there. Turner he made this squad as from Omaha Burke. He played and redshirted last year, and so it's good to see him get some action.
So Turner makes his first reception as a Reaver, and then down the middle, nearly broken up. A dangerous pass by Zach intended for Taj Williams.
Yeah, I mean, he was putting it behind him just because he saw the safety coming, and punted away, just barely gets into the end zone.
Riley Ferguson back to work again. It is 14-7, and the Reavers still looking for that equalizer. Another good catch on the sideline, and right in front of the Reaver bench. You guys saw a lot of these good catches right in front of you.
I'll tell you what, that was a nice one there. I forgot about it. I remember seeing it, but I forgot how nice it was.
Riley Ferguson did pay for his runs, but he was surprisingly elusive.
Yeah, he's a smart player. So I mean, he ran when he, within the pass game. It wasn't maybe a designed quarterback runs, but broke the pocket.
So at the end of the first quarter, it's 14-7 Red Ravens. What were you thinking as you head into the second?
Well, I feel pretty good. We just got to, we took a couple sacks, or we were punting it away, but we just got to make some plays, come down and make some plays. And there's a good one. Zach gets out of the pocket and finds Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm Moore redshirted last season, played in 2013, and good to see him back on the field. And here's another nice-looking completion to Taj Williams. Tough run there at the end of the reception.
Yeah, and we caught him playing off as we get it here going a little bit. In a little bit, they're going to start pressing us a little bit tighter on Taj.
Anthony Johnson makes the catch there. The call on the play was pass interference, so you guys take it, you get a couple more yards out of it, and you continue the drive with another first down.
It was a heck of a catch that he made, and just with the pass interference, and then they get a hands to the face and kind of helping our drive out here with some of their penalties.
It seemed like in the first half, a lot of the penalties were going your way, going the Reavers' way, and as we get toward those second half highlights a little bit later in the show, you'll see that it turns around. Zach Martin, a tough run, and that was the third straight run under center. You guys finally punch it across and tie it up, and it's 14-14. They try a field goal, and it ends up being still 14. You get the late touchdown. You go into the half up 20-14, but a missed extra point, kind of foreboding, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, they had 12 penalties, in the first half, and we had 4, and I think it was almost reversed in the second half. But, I felt really good to go into the half at 20-14. I didn't think we maybe controlled the game. I felt they controlled the first half a little bit better than us. But to be ahead, obviously, is positive, and we just got to come out and shore some things in the second half.
Reavers fighting back to take that 6-point lead into the break. We'll get more of the coaches' take of the first half and the second half highlights when we return. This is the Coach Stroh Show right here on CBTV 17.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it.
Since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Hey,
God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
From the studios of CBTV 17 on the campus of Iowa Western in Council Bluffs, I'm Jake Ryan along with the head coach, Scott Strohmeier. Coach, you go into the half 20-14, and what did you talk to the team about? Obviously the game far from over, but it's a good spot to be after trailing for much of the first half.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I thought we maybe even got outplayed in the first half, and to be able to be up, I felt really good. I really think we just needed to shore some things up and not really change anything. But discuss of what they're trying to do to us and you know how we're going to attack them in the second half. And you know really that's, like I said, we didn't make a whole bunch of adjustments besides the fact of you know how they're trying to play us in certain things.
One thing we didn't see was Andre Nunez come into the game. Of course, the sophomore quarterback. He's a transfer out of Glendale Community College, I believe, in California. He's the one that scored that go-ahead touchdown on the run. So we've already seen his legs get moving. And what about his arm? Pretty good arm on Andre Nunez?
He does. I mean, he's got a strong arm, and I think that's one of his strengths. You know, and we wanted to give him an opportunity to play. You know, in the first half, you know, it's hard with two quarterbacks, but you want to give them a series. Obviously, now someone else has something they got to look at as far as how to prepare for him. So we gave him a shot, and he did well.
Well, we'll check out that arm here in this second half. Let's take a look at the second half highlights. Coffeyville and Iowa Western, the Reivers up 20-14 as the darkness is in full effect, way under the lights as we get the second half underway. South to north is where Ferguson and his crew will run out. Tries to get it away on the shuffle pass, and it's incomplete. Now they have some discussions. Ends up being a safety on an intentional grounding. You go up 22-14, and that's the start of a little bit of a landslide for the Reivers in the third quarter.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's huge. You know, now you take care of that missed extra point, at least we think so, and good way to start the second half.
Here is the free kick. Tyus Mason ends up picking it up, and heck of a run here. Tyus very patient as he picks his way through, crosses from the far side to the near side, and is finally brought down well into Coffeyville territory.
Yeah, well, right away I thought it was going to go out of bounds, and it took a bounce, and he took it. And I mean, great run there.
Here's Andre Nunez, that pass, and a big one to Taj Williams here. Does get caught at the end, but a nice job there from the transfer quarterback to your All-American that returns.
We caught him in a corner blitz there, and they didn't adjust with their safety over the top. So good.
And then
good
again, Andre Nunez, we'll see that arm right down the middle. Great look inside to Tyus Mason. He makes his first touchdown of this 2015 season.
Yeah, I mean, good way to start the second half. You get a safety and you come up with a touchdown.
And then Al Ferguson, and guess what? Zach Whitley, the guy that you said wears number 4, comes up with the big INT. Nearly got to the end zone, but Ferguson taking a gamble there. That reminded me of the play back in the 2012 national title game where the quarterback tried to make the hit.
Yeah.
And then you get Sam Harms slipping off the line. The tight end gets in, and, well, Andre Nunez quick 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. You guys are up big.
Yeah, we're 35-14, you know, and playing well. You know, we get them in a position. They move the football again, but we put it in good position. We get the ball back. I think we stop them on downs here.
Yep, it was 4th and goal, or 1st and goal at one point, and you guys end up getting them out of it. Now here's where the game turned a little bit, as the pass, by Andre Nunez is going to be returned for a pick 6. So then you're like, okay, well, maybe we've got a game now. It's 35-21, and then they continue to keep moving it down the field. It is, again, the Riley Ferguson show. Here he is brought down on the quarterback sack, but there were not enough of those to keep him grounded. He got away a couple times for some big gains.
Yeah, back to back. We got him in 3rd and long. We sack him twice. So we're sitting here 3rd and long. You know, we're still feeling pretty good. We're flushing him out of the pocket. I mean, this is a heck of a catch. You know, like maybe we'd be in a little bit better position, but I mean, you got to give them credit there. That's a heck of a catch.
Yeah, big time play there by Cedric Wilson, who goes up and brings it in. So then 35-28, and you need something to happen. So you hand the ball off to the freshman Ray Gray, and he goes to work.
I'll tell you what, it was nice to see him. He was our player of the game offensively, and he's really made some plays. It was good to see.
He's got some good shake and bake there as he cut left and took it to the outside right, 20 yards on that run by Ray Gray. And then you get into some interesting territory as Nunez nearly throws that one. Looked like it was intended for Marshall Clark, but way in front of him. And you get into 4th down territory. You end up going for it. What's the thought process there?
Well, I think right now just wanting to put us in position. We missed an extra point, and that was probably right in our range. But Andre makes a heck of a play.
Absolutely.
Saves us all with a nice one.
42-28, good catch by Nunmore there. Sure looked like it might have skimmed the turf, but they rule it complete. And now another pass by Ferguson. This one, as he hucks it up to the side, it's caught behind the end zone, but pass interference called. And you thought you saw offensive pass interference on the play.
From the film that our end, I would have probably thought it was offense. The one that's out of bounds, it should have been uncatchable anyways. That one, that's just right there.
That's a play later where they get Juwan Winfrey good for the touchdown. Extra point, blocked by the Reivers. So you've got a little bit of breathing room, 42-34. But unfortunately, the clock was not your friend. Too much of it left. As you get going here, Andre Nunez is sacked on the design run. And then Ray Gray again with the carry, trying to keep that clock running. But
this was a big one here, and keep them stay in bounds there and
just
try to let
them
it
out.
They force them out, so we got to punt it away. Okay, but we're still up by 8. Nice
bounces
punts
inside the 20, and the Reivers recover. And again, Bobby Patterson had some good rolls. He had a 51-yard punt at one point. I'm not sure what the distance on that one was, but he did a nice job. And then Riley Ferguson, he just kept him alive. Too much time to throw there.
Too much time, and I'll tell you what, they did a good job of scramble rules with their quarterback.
And then Ferguson to the corner, and nobody was there to stop him as he pops it up. I thought for sure he was going to lose it and the Reivers were going to take over, and that's not the way it was designed. Great job there, and then they get the 2-point conversion just past the line of scrimmage. You guys down it, and we've got our second overtime game in program history in a span of about 12 games.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, they got some breaks there and then tied it with the 2-point conversion. We go into overtime, and then we kind of, that kid made a good play there as well. We're breaking the pocket. Thought
Toyas Avery, his second INT of the game, and then it only took 3 plays. Here's one as they just keep working it in. That's the second, and then, Riley Ferguson did it the whole game. He just has got to win this ball game for Coffeyville. 48-42 the final, and they celebrate like, it's 19 whatever year they've won their last national title. Coffeyville, a heck of a performance by the Red Ravens. You got to hand it to them. They never quit. In the third quarter, honestly, from my point of view, it felt over because they were just so flat. You guys have put it on them. Obviously, you make a run. You were down 14-7 at one point. You end up 35-14. So it was quite the run, 28-0 run. And then they did a little run of their own toward the end where they outscored you 34-7.
Well, it's one of those deals. We, like I said, I thought we outplayed them in the third quarter and even part of the fourth. And then once that momentum changed, we just couldn't get it back, and they give credit to them. They're a heck of a team. We let one slip, I think. But like I told the team afterwards, it's not who you lose to, it's when you lose. And if you're going to lose, you better lose early. Better week 1 than week 10. And now what teams are, just based on the celebration, that they've been banking on that game for about a year.
I thought those new Nike jerseys would have a bullseye on the back of them.
Well, we might not be wearing those. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, tell me what you got positive out of the game. There was a lot of solid plays that obviously Ray Gray, the emergence of him, Andre Nunez got extended time. Tell us a little bit about what you took out of the game positive that you can move on with down the road here.
Well, I thought up front, offensive line, I thought we played pretty well. I thought the defensive line we played well. I thought maybe we would out-condition them a little bit, and I felt we maybe got tired a little bit towards the end. So, that one kind of went the other way. But, there's some individual performances that I think the way our kids never quit, but we just need someone to step up and make a play. When that momentum changes, we can't play scared. You got to take on those opportunities, and you know what? Give it to me. I want the ball. I'm going to take this game over and secure it, or we know our assignment's what we're supposed to do. So, it is what it is. We didn't have a scrimmage the first one. It's not an excuse, but there were some unknowns, and I said that prior to the game, and some of those unknowns, we saw some positives. We also saw some things that, I wish maybe we could have found out before the first game. But that's the nature of it, and we got to get better and make progress from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah, and you don't have any time to to pout because you've got Butler this week, and it will definitely be a test against the Grizzlies. They will finally get you on their home turf, and we'll talk all about that when we return on the show. But when we come back next, a key piece of last year's Reivers squad in his freshman year joins us to talk about his performance in game number 1 and the outlook for his sophomore year. Tyus Mason and Crystal Herco join us next. This is the Coach Stroh Show on CBTV 17.
Your future is here at CBTV. You're in the game. You take the shots. It's your story. The Media Studies program at Iowa Western. Real reality TV starring you. For more information, go to iwcc.edu.
The Coach Stroh Show continues here on CBTV 17. I'm IWTV student Crystal Herco, along with sophomore receiver and running back Tyus Mason. Thanks for joining us, Tyus.
No problem. It's good to be here.
So we'll get the hard topics out of the way first. How are you feeling after the loss this last weekend?
It was tough the day after and everything, and after the game, obviously, because they celebrated like they won the national championship, but we just got to get back to work because we got Butler the next week, so we're getting ready for next week.
That's got to make you feel a little bit good that they're celebrating that much. Like, we beat Iowa Western. That's kind of a big deal. You had a touchdown. You guys were doing really well. What do you think happened that made that momentum fall off?
Yeah, every game we go into, we're going to have a target on our back. Just everyone wanted to beat us because of our record every year and everything. So, I think momentum changed around the fourth quarter when they started doing, they stuck to their game plan and everything, and we just kind of relaxed and they got us, I guess.
They always get you when you let your guards down a little bit. How do you compare the team last year to this year? Like the chemistry?
I think the chemistry is almost better, actually. We got a couple individuals that show it out every once in a while, but for the most part, I think our chemistry for the whole team seems to be pretty working well together, especially when we're playing well.
How are you transitioning? I know that you were just strictly a running back last year, and now you're, in the slot receiver position, so you're doing two. How's that transition working for you?
It's not too bad. I play more slot now than I did running back, but as long as I'm on the field, that's all that really matters to me. And I still get to play a little bit running back every now and then.
What's your favorite?
I don't really have a favorite. I just like to be on the field, whatever works for me.
Is there anything that you take away from a loss to help you push into Butler this next weekend?
It's always an eye-opener. It's always motivation to win the next one, especially when you have, I wouldn't say a harder opponent, but Butler's always had a better outcome record against us than Coffeyville has. So
Butler was ranked 5th last year, and actually in that game, you scored the winning touchdown. So going to them and seeing them and them seeing you is almost like, oh, this is the kid that not only the team, but this is the kid that finalized it for us last year. Do you feel like you have more pressure going into Butler this weekend because of that?
Not necessarily. I just think it's another game. We just got to come out ready to go, and I know we will, just because we lost and just we're getting ready for this next week.
Is it easier to get a loss in the beginning of the season than the end of the season? I know you never want a loss, but which one do you think is easier to handle?
I'd say beginning of the season rather than end of the season, just because there's always more room to recover and there's more of a cushion if you lose in the beginning of the season, where it's more pressure if you lose at the end of the season.
Well, thanks again for being with us, Tyus, and good luck on Saturday against Butler. Get some more touchdowns and win the game.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here.
Coming up after the break, Jake Ryan and the coach are back to talk about what's next for the Reivers. We'll be right back.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. and drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Our final segment of the Iowa Western Football Coaches Show, and it's an exciting one. Jake and the coach back to wrap things up here on CBTV Channel 17, Week 2, and you're walking into a hornet's nest. It is Butler, perennial power, X amount of national championships, and they finally, after 3 previous chances, get the Reivers in Kansas. You played them in 2 Graphic Edge Bowls, one of them, of course, for the 2012 national title, and then last year at home, a thrilling overtime win in which our last guest scored the winning touchdown. Butler, what do you know about them? A brand new coach. Obviously, Coach Morrill's gone, but it's probably the same old Grizzlies, isn't it?
It is. I mean, he's been there for, I don't even know, 20-some years as an assistant, and so the program's not going to change. They're extremely well coached. They're going to be gunning for us, and I think that's as the head coach was the defensive coordinator who, from the national title game to 6-0 to overtime loss, they've had the way we feel right now today, or how I felt this whole week, that's how they felt probably in the last 2 games, after it. So they're going to be ready, and we're going to have to be ready because no one's going to feel sorry for us. And now it's the opportunity where kind of opened up some eyes and said, okay, how everybody's going to look at that film. I mean, everybody that we play from this point forward is going to look at the Coffeyville film and say, okay, how do you beat Iowa Western? So, we're going to get some of the same things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a night game under the lights. Do they have fireworks? Do you know? I'm sure that they will pull out all the stops for the Reivers coming to town because I know the Grizzly fans, they are very excited to have Iowa Western down there. So how do you prepare the team for a hostile environment? Are you playing the music at an extra loud decibel at practice? What are you doing?
We haven't. We'll start probably today. We're just starting the prep with them. But yeah, it's going to be. I don't know. I mean, hopefully I don't think it'll be too loud like one of those big-time stadiums. But, I mean, I think playing in a game last week is going to help. This one's going to be similar and probably a few more fans. They're going to be ready for us. It might be a little hostile, I'm sure. Their student body or whatever might be where we're coming out of the locker room or something like that, that's college football, and hopefully our guys are up for the opportunity to go play another quality opponent.
I know last week the end result wasn't fun, but how much fun is it to prepare week in and week out for teams that will give you challenges and present a tough matchup every week?
Well, I think that's why you get into the profession, or that's why you play the game, is the competitiveness, that side. It doesn't always, come out in your favor. But it was a fun game to coach in, and I have a lot of respect for Coach Flores and Coffeyville and what they did. Like I said, it doesn't make it any better, but and we're going to do the same with Butler. A storied program. We've had some success against them. Let's see if we can't keep it going.
All right. That's the end of the Coach Stroh Show, and Coach didn't point out that's the first opening day loss since 2009, the very first year of Reaver football, and the first ever loss against the Kansas Jayhawk Conference. So a very impressive run that you guys enjoyed up until last week, and it's time to start a new one this week, Coach.
Exactly.
Right?
They say they all have to come to an end, so ours did. So now let's start a new one.
Well, let's start a brand new beginning this week. That wraps up this week's edition of the Coach Stroh Show. Make sure you join us Saturday night from El Dorado, Kansas, the city of gold, I'm sure is what they call it, as 13th ranked Iowa Western faces 10th ranked Butler. So finally going up against a squad that is higher ranked, and we'll see how the Reivers fare. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. We'll have the pregame for you beginning at 6 on 89.7 The River. Thanks again to head coach Scott Strohmeier, also sophomore slot man and running back Tyus Mason, and our great IWTV crew for putting the show together today. We couldn't do it without them, and of course without you. I'm Jake Ryan signing off. Catch the highlights of all the Reaver games on the Bluff Sports Zone. We'll talk with you Saturday, and remember, wear blue, be loud, and go Reivers.